Alright guys, so we made it to Columbia, South Carolina. This right here is the house that 13-year-old Kania Baker got killed in.
This teenage girl right behind me here named Kania Baker was murdered. The details are gruesome. And we understand that earlier today, investigators, they shared her identity.
January 15th, 2025, Columbia, South Carolina. Firefighters responding to a structure fire in an abandoned home on Cardamon Court discovered a body among the flames. Female, burned beyond recognition. But as they moved closer, the full extent of violence became clear. Stab wounds, fractures from blunt force trauma, a face so devastated she would be unrecognizable to her own family. She was 13. Her name was Kania Baker. And the girls who killed her were teenagers themselves. Children who committed an act so brutal that law enforcement described it using language reserved for the most hardened criminals. But how did we get here? Welcome to Crime Beyond the Shadows. To those returning, I pray your families remain safe tonight. If you're new here, subscribe and enable the notification bell. We uncover stories others won't tell, the evidence they overlook, the truths buried beneath headlines. Today we explore what happened to Kania Baker. Listen carefully. Kania Baker, 13, was reported missing from foster care on January 13th, 2025. 2 days later, firefighters found her burned body in an abandoned house. The autopsy revealed multiple stab wounds, severe blunt force trauma, burns so extensive that DNA evidence was required for identification. But here's what makes this case unprecedented. Kania was murdered by 2 teenage girls. One was 15, one was 16. Both were arrested within 72 hours. The 16-year-old had been wanted by the Department of Juvenile Justice. She had cut off her ankle monitor one day before Kania disappeared. She was already flagged as dangerous. Months later, she escaped state custody with help from her own mother, Savannah Mills. They were found together in a vehicle containing 2 stolen firearms. Prosecutors are fighting to try both suspects as adults. For a murder so heinous that Columbia Police Chief Skip Holbrook used 6 words to describe it: brutal, heinous, vicious, gruesome, monstrous, disturbing. How did 2 teenagers plan and execute such violence? What led to this rage?
Alright guys, so we made it to Columbia, South Carolina. This right here is the house that 13-year-old Kania Baker got killed in. This past January, she ran away from her foster mother house and was found in this house. Her body was burned. She was beaten to death. But yeah, so this is where we're starting from. It looked like they doing this house over, whatever, and they're doing most of these houses over. So, but yeah, man.
Again and again. What drives a 13-year-old to run away repeatedly? Abuse? Trauma from separation? Loss of hope? We may never know. But Kania was vulnerable, isolated, searching for connection in a system that couldn't provide it. On January 13th, she was last seen on Auburn Leaf Drive near Hopkins. When her foster family reported her missing, the Richland County Sheriff's Department issued an alert stating they believed she was in danger. Not missing. In danger. Someone understood this time was different. Now consider the 16-year-old suspect. On the surface, a typical troubled teenager, but beneath that normalcy was documented history. Disorderly conduct, malicious injury to property, criminal activities serious enough to warrant ankle monitor supervision. Then, January 12th, 2025, one day before Kania disappeared, she severed her ankle monitor, removed herself from state supervision, became invisible to the system meant to contain her. The 15-year-old was a school dropout with documented behavioral issues. Both girls came from fractured homes, both had limited supervision, both existed in the network of at-risk youth moving through Columbia's streets. Kania knew them. That detail is crucial. She didn't encounter predatory strangers. She went willingly with teenagers who seemed to understand her struggle. What do you think happens in foster care systems that makes children believe they must run away? Comment below. These weren't random meetings. Kania and the 2 girls occupied the same world. The foster care network, the street network, communities of teenagers living on society's margins. To Kania, these girls represented something powerful. Older, experienced, independent. They seemed to know how to survive in a world that had rejected her. She trusted them. That misplaced trust became the thread connecting her to her own death. Columbia Police Chief Skip Holbrook confirmed, Kania knew her attackers. She wasn't abducted by strangers. She was lured by people she considered peers. But how does a child build trust with teenagers capable of stabbing and burning another human being? The answer lies in understanding desperation. Kania was running repeatedly. She was lonely in a way only separated children understand. These girls offered something: shelter, friendship, belonging. Whatever it was, it overrode her self-preservation instincts. Now the timeline. January 13th morning. Kania reported missing. By evening, the sheriff's department issued alerts stating they believed she was in danger. January 14th. 24 hours with these two girls. What happened during those hours? Did she try to escape? Call for help? We don't know, but something was occurring that would culminate in murder. January 15th, Kania was taken to an abandoned house on Cardamom Court. An abandoned building suggests intention. You don't accidentally end up there. Someone chose that location. Someone understood it was removed from witnesses. Inside that house, Kania was stabbed multiple times, each wound a deliberate act, then bludgeoned. Her face beaten so severely identification would require DNA analysis, and then set on fire. Fire destroys evidence. Fire obscures cause of death. Whether premeditated or panic, the result was the same: obliteration of the body. What do you think triggered this level of brutality? Comment below. The coroner's findings documented the violence's extent: multiple stab wounds, blunt force trauma so severe her facial features were destroyed, severe burns. Coroner Nida Rutherford noted that photographs of Kania didn't match her remains. Her own face had been erased by violence. Late evening, January 15th, firefighters arrived to suppress flames at the abandoned house. They found a charred body, female, severely burned. Initially, the cause seemed unclear, but as investigation proceeded, stab wounds became visible beneath the burns. This wasn't accidental death. This was homicide. Identification required 4 days. DNA analysis, comparison with samples. January 19th, 2025, the Richland County Coroner's Office confirmed the remains belonged to Kania Baker. Coroner Nida Rutherford held a press conference. Her words were measured but devastating. The manner of death is not an accident, and this is not a suicide. This is a horrible homicide.
I first saw her as a missing person. And then when I looked a little deeper, I saw that it was a couple of missing person reports out from previous months. It kind of compelled me. 13 years old, African-American female in our community missing. It really intrigued me because that I'm the face of her mother, and that could have been my child.
Columbia's At-Risk Youth Network. Columbia Police Chief Skip Holbrook publicly confirmed Kania knew her killers.
As you see on the screen, I'm standing here talking about the 7th mom that we've arrested that's been involved in helping their kids commit crimes. While each one of the 6 previous ones have been bad on itself, I think this one just got a little bit extra to it, and I'll explain that in a few minutes. When you talk about these kids and the crimes they commit, and you ask why, I think today, when I tell about this case, you're going to see why some of these kids are involved in crime. And it comes from the home, and it comes from the parents. You're going to see an example of what a mother should not be. And I think it's going to shock everybody in this community when some of this information comes out. It started with us on Sunday, almost 6 o'clock. Department of Juvenile Justice notified us that they had someone escape from DJJ. They asked for our assistance, so you had the Sheriff's Department, SLED, Columbia Police Department, DJJ, search an area trying to locate the person who escaped. Information was obtained about a car that may be involved in the escape. About 8:50 at Wilson Boulevard and Sharp Road, our deputies spotted the car and did a stop on the car. Inside the car was the escapee. She was there, but she was also in the car with her mother. It just shocks me that a mom who knows what her daughter has done knows that she's escaped, and here she is basically trying to get her out of town. But not only was both of them in the car, there was also 2 guns in the car. One of the guns had been reported stolen out of Richland County previously. That night, Mills here, who was the mom, was initially charged with aiding the escape of a prisoner with a capital offense. Pay attention to that 2 words, capital offense. That's murder. Go back to January of this year when a 13-year-old girl was found murdered in the city of Columbia, where her body was found where she had been beaten to death, stabbed, and burned.
Treated mental illness, absent supervision. Could Kania have been saved if foster care had intervened intensively? If the 16-year-old had remained in secure detention, if either suspect had received mental health services, we will never know. But the question demands asking. Kania's death has changed the conversation in Colombia. The question is, will it change the nation? Thank you for watching. Thank you for refusing to look away from Kania Baker's story. What we do in Crime Beyond the Shadows is tell stories that deserve to be told. Not for entertainment, for understanding. Because victims matter. Because systems that fail them demand scrutiny. Because prevention begins with awareness. I have 4 questions for you. Comment below. 1. Should these teenagers be tried as adults? A 15-year-old and 16-year-old committed an act law enforcement called heinous and monstrous. Should they face adult sentences? Should they potentially spend their entire lives in prison? Or should the juvenile system handle them, with eventual release possible? Tell me what you believe. Tell me why. 2. How would you reform foster care to protect vulnerable children? Kania ran away repeatedly. The system failed to intervene, failed to protect her. What resources would you provide? What policies would you implement? What accountability would you demand? 3. Have you been impacted by the foster care system? Your experience matters, your perspective matters. If you've been in foster care, if you've worked in foster care, if you've had a child in the system, share your story. The comment section is yours. 4. What do you think causes youth violence? Why are teenagers killing teenagers? Is it poverty, broken homes, mental illness, lack of opportunity, gang influence? What's the root cause? What would you prioritize in preventing violence before it erupts into murder? If this story mattered to you, like this video, subscribe, turn on the notification bell. Crime Beyond the Shadows brings you cases others ignore, stories that demand to be heard. Next week, we're covering a case that baffled investigators for years. Evidence that didn't add up. A suspect hiding in plain sight. A mystery that lasted longer than anyone expected. Don't miss it. Kania Baker was a child. She deserved protection. She deserved life. She deserved more than what she got. Remember her name. Demand better systems. Be the change. This is Crime Beyond the Shadows. We tell the stories others won't.